You know, it's late September now. It's almost the beginning of October. And there's one thing that I want to address. And it's the amount of times that I get asked, either at the Plantsman's Corner Nursery or Eggleston Hall Gardens Nursery. Be quiet, I'm talking. And it's something I'm asked all the time. It's how do you become a gardener? How do I get into it? How do I do the job? And it's something I have a lot of agonising over, because I did it through the college route. Through the route of doing 3 years at college and then becoming a garden boy and an apprentice. And I don't think anymore that that's the way to do it. And the reason I don't think this, or I think this, is because of the quality of the teaching at horticultural colleges. I've had any amount of students come to me asking for jobs, and I've taken them on in the past. And frankly, they just haven't been worth it. They don't know anything. I don't know what they're doing at these colleges. They're not doing anything. There are other people on the internet, they call themselves professional gardeners or gardeners, and they have spurious qualifications. They've done like a 2-week course and got a certificate in almost everything you can imagine. I don't know how they have it. I don't know how they dare to call themselves gardeners. I've been at it 42 years since a boy, and in that time I've never stopped learning. I would call myself a professional gardener because it's my profession and I've served my apprenticeships. But the question of how do I start getting into gardening these days, it's difficult. Because people want stuff instantly these days. You find youngsters, they want fame and they want glory and they want success. But they don't want to actually be any bloody good at it, at some particular thing to get it. They're never interested in learning. They want everything so quickly, and you can't do that in this business. There is one thing above all that's really obvious these days, and it's always been obvious, and that is that if somebody's interested, if they have a passion and an interest, they teach themselves. They really don't need to go to horticultural colleges. We have information technology that we didn't have when I was a kid. So much information is available online. You just need an iPad, a phone or a computer, anything you want. You can get hold of the information. The one thing that you can't get online, and this is really, really important, and that's passion. You must have passion and you must have interest, because it's that interest and passion that will teach you the job and help you to teach yourself. What they're turning out of horticultural colleges these days, it's just unbelievable. I have to say, and I've met loads of the tutors at these colleges and that run correspondence courses. I wouldn't employ 80% of the fuckers myself. They're useless. That's the tutors, let alone the students. So I suppose, having looked at the negative side of it, you really got to start thinking, what can you actually do? Well, if I was a young man, now, starting out in the job, I would get myself some customers. I would start jobbing gardening, cutting lawns, edges, just starting to get used to being in a garden. I'd offer to do their gardens and experiment with things. I'd get an allotment, a piece of land, my own garden, and I'd grow plants. I'd learn about the plants, all the time funding myself with straightforward maintenance work. With a piece of land, or a friendly gardener, or somebody who will let you use their garden for experimentation, or to help you forge yourself into a gardener. And with all the information you've got, you could do step over trees, you can learn about the individual plants. There's a whole range of things you could do. And you can do these as well as working at the same time. To go on a 2-year course or a 1-year course where you're sat in a classroom doing nothing hands-on and they do very little practical, you can at least develop your own skills at your own pace in your own time. And if it's at your own pace and in your own time, you'll enjoy doing it. And if you enjoy doing it, it will go in your brain. It won't be wasted. It takes time. You have to do things slowly, but you have to learn. You have to have some ground. You need to build up a portfolio. As you do people's gardens, and as you work in them, and as you get better at it, take pictures of them, before, after. Show your plantings. Show your methods of propagation. You must see things. People must be able to see things that you can do. I have over the years employed lots of people, and I'd like to employ more. But when they come to me, I want to know what they can do. They come to me with qualifications, certificates in this, and foundation courses in that, RHS certificates in this. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in what they learn in the classroom. What I want to see is what they can do with their hands and their eyes and their brain. Anybody can call themselves a professional gardener. Anybody can call themselves a gardener. But you've got to be able to do it. You have to be able to show that you can do it and not just be a maintenance man. Everybody does that. You need to be able to go around a garden and look at something like this. This is the peony, Mlocosviciana, or Molly the Witch as its common name is. You need to know that that's what it is. You need to be able to identify it. You need to take those seeds, know how to grow them. You need to know that they have a double dormancy. You need to know that they have hard skins. You need to know what to do with them when they have germinated. That takes time to learn. That's one example. You need to know why leaves turn colour. You need to know the best leaves that turn colour. You need to know how to propagate, water and hoe. You can call yourself a gardener when you can do these things. When you understand that watering is perhaps the hardest job on the nursery or in the garden. Anybody can put water in a fucking plant. What they can't do is put it in right and put the right amount in. You need to understand that hoeing is the best method of looking after a garden. It's the best method of weed control. People don't like it because it's hard work. You can also call yourself a gardener when you understand why plants are divided. When you understand why they're divided, you will understand why they're pruned. You'll understand why how to propagate them. think in the end, I want to make this short film because lots of people want to be gardeners, but they don't always have the passion. I suppose that bastard. My wife loves these things. God almighty. I suppose in the end, it's like all things. And like I said earlier, if you have the passion and you have the interest, you'll teach yourself. I would personally forget the horticultural colleges, forget the courses that you have to do, unless you want to learn something specific. Come to a place like us and do a day's pruning or a day's propagating. Tucker, what do you think? Above all, do it because you enjoy it. Don't just do it because it's a job. If you want to do that, fine, just go around, cut lawns and trim edges. But learn, if you want to be a professional gardener, learn why you do things. Learn how to do them properly. And above all, put your customers first. Look after them. As long as they're not a pain in the ass, just look after them and work with them in gardens. I'll tell you something. I've been doing this, as I said, 42 years. And if I had my time again, I would really just do the whole thing again. It's just been an absolute wonderment to me. I've enjoyed it. And I hope you do if you become a gardener. But don't get hung up on college courses. Nah, that ain't the way to do it. I think that's about it now. I think I've said my bit. That's it. I'm off to scratch my ass.